Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday evening or eve or whatever we want to call this. Whatever we're going to call it. That's a lot better. Man, always hesitant about straightening this out, but I guess talking into the top of it and whatever. That's cool. So, hope everybody's doing well. I finally found an NQ chart that doesn't have like too much stuff on it, so I could actually clean some of this up. Um, I'm not gonna be on for too long. Probably just for like an hour. Um, a little bit beyond. What is that? A little bit beyond the 7 p.m. open or the 7 p.m. open. The beyond 7 p.m. just to see how price is looking to deliver and whatnot. So I haven't touched this chart in like a hot minute, and that's a 4 hour. Mm, we just scale all the way down to a 5 minute and see. So market's gonna open here in a minute, less than a minute actually. 15. So close. It literally like there's no gap. There's literally like no gap. That's your open. Because I don't do the wick, I do the body. I just go for body to body. So this was the close, and this is the body open. So as it stands right now, that's your buy side, and it looks like this wants to do whatever. So um, we'll wait and see. We got time. But while um, while that's been marked, let's go up to the 4 hour real quick. And like I said, this is one chart. Like this particular trading view chart, I haven't been. There's a 6 p.m. here. Okay, so we're in this 4 hour. I'm gonna make this blue so I can just discern like which one we're in right now. And I made that one 4 and blue. Okay, so move my head out the way. So this is what we're in right now in terms of range. We're in that 4 hour time frame, which is interestingly enough, it's a 6. Is that a 6 a.m.? It's a 6 p.m. Oh, oh my! That's actually a 6 p.m. open. So this was a 6 a.m. clear and close through. This is a 6 a.m. candle back here. Okay, so this is basically a PM. This is a PM manipulation or a PM open, a 6 p.m. buy side, sell side. That's what we're in. But the criteria remains the same. Candle range is candle range. Some obviously a little more high probability than others, but um, cleared the buy side, and let's just see. But um, I think in my bias video, my weekly bias of what I was looking for this week, I did say I I kind of want to see price to see if it comes back up into here before shorting, because I did say I was looking for continued shorts, but I'd want to see longs first, and that's still the case. Like that hasn't that's not changed. This is Wednesday. Yeah, it should be interesting to see how this opens. All right, we can probably go back down to 5 here. Let me let me take a few minutes, and I'm gonna mark, kind of try to go back and mark out Friday to kind of get a frame of reference of what we'd be looking for high and low. Because like I said, this NQ chart I've not touched like for a while is what I mean when I say I haven't touched it. So give me just a second. It's midnight. Yeah, it's just a seller. It's like, what are you what are you marking on? What are you gonna mark out? Like all the lows you could give me. All right. Line up, line up. There we go. Okay. So that's where that started. Um, so I would just do something like, and then we'd also have London by side as well. This just kind of gives me something to do while kind of trying to figure out what else is going on. Okay, so this is my 8 in here. So we had that's 7:15. 755. Excuse me. And a lot of people would look at this and they would call it hindsight, and that's fine. Um, totally okay with that. The crazy thing is the people that would look at me doing this now and call it hindsight. Um, when I upload, I don't know. Well, because this is a live stream, um, what I'll do for those that think that this is kind of hindsight and cherry picking, what I can do is I can put the link to Friday's tape reading session that was also live streamed on this here very channel. I can actually put that in the chat for anybody that would think I'm just kind of going back and looking and cherry picking. So I'm just gonna put that there so you can so it can be seen more or less than anything else. All right, and let's see. So that's that, and then let's look at 930, which is basically going to give us our initial balance for the day, which is going to be this wick here. Oop. And we're going to pick one more color. I know you're like all of the horizontal rays. So I've said, I don't know how many times before, that the reason that I do this is because when I look back at price, or I'm looking at price going, you know, short or long or whatever it is, I'm always looking for, okay, is there something that I clearly see that it could be reaching for? Yes or no? And if I mark out certain levels and then I put in whether it's a manipulation, if I put it in whether it's a session, buy side, sell side liquidity, whatever it is, I can look and go, okay, what's the likelihood? What does it have to get through? What does it have to do to get there? Right? And if there's nothing that really stands in between that potential objective and where price is, then I'm looking at that as, okay, that could potentially be a draw. And then I just need to build the narrative behind why it would go there. Not the reasoning that I just have to see it go. No, is there a narrative? Is there a genuine narrative that I could look at and say, okay, under the auspice of this, and this, price probabilistically would navigate there. Like that's the narrative. And it's just kind of that cut and dry. And if it's not that, then, you know, what are we talking about? So we can call this initial balance by side liquidity. 15, right? Top. Let's make that a 24. Make that a little bit bigger. And bowl some snitching out. Now, here's where it gets a little crazy. Because this is 35, which would make this, let's see, clone that. So technically that would be initial balance sell side low for this range, but it's run out, which now, you could call me crazy, you could, but like whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. So what could you look for, right? If you take my bias video where I said I'd like to see price run, right? So after I mark all of this out, we're gonna go back up and look at the 4 hour. But as of like right now, I could already tell you what I would be looking for. And it has to do with this level right here. If there's a closure back inside, right? Again, what's probable? It's probably gonna reach for that. And I typically don't mark out like the AM session because I'll follow the price action and the manipulations between the 8:30 buy side sell side and between the initial balance. Like you could look at those ranges and just kind of try to determine like what potentially will happen from there. Ear is itching. Okay, so this level was what? I just said we were going to go back up to the four. Okay, so that was a previous, I believe, 6 a.m. candle. Yeah. So this was actually good grief. This is the 30th. So this is Wednesday, October the 30th. This was actually a 6 a.m. 4 hour candle range low. That price has just come back and revisited. Um, but we're still, again, we're still in this 4 hour candle range, right? And that's a 6 p.m. candle range. So it's kind of like what we've just opened inside. Um, so yeah. But the idea is that's your manipulation low, right? So we haven't cleared this. We haven't cleared this level, and we have not cleared this. And we haven't established our 6 p.m. opening range buy side liquidity yet. We could actually, it's only like a quarter after, it's 6:26, but this I'm on delayed for this trading view account. So we can wait a bit just to see how the buy side is put in and what gets run. And I'll go back and I'll say it again. I spoke about this previously. Your initial balance buy side liquidity is sitting up here. It's beyond this level, right? It's bigger than that. I can actually take this off because this has been run out and run through. So this can come off. But it was good to leave on here to be able to see like what that ran back into. So we could take that off. Um, Let me get rid of this too. But I hate sounding and forgive me for sounding like that, but it makes it at least for me, I would say that it makes it easier to be able to kind of see what are you looking for, right? What could you be looking for? Like, do we see for the third week in a row another one-sided delivery? Because we had last week we had bearish price action. A week before that we had bullish price action. So what do we have this week? Do we have bullish price action again? Do we have a mixed week? What do we have? What do we got? Let's take one more quick look at Friday. Friday was massive. Friday was just a very, it was a very good day if you were on the right side, and that's really um, I'd be interested to see, right, how we navigate this week, because this may be indicative of something. I'm not calling myself Nostradamus or anything, but I would look and I would be very interested to see what happens when we get here. Because and I'm looking at this from, just so you know, I'm looking at this from a daily chart. Okay, so this is basically the difference in the distance between Thursday and Friday of last week. Okay, so Wednesday and Friday basically allowed this area of fair value. Now, you don't have to be a genius to, well, anybody that knows, and I don't know why that is, but I was about to say anybody that knows me, but nobody really knows me in this space. Um, I don't want to. I wouldn't call myself like Captain Obvious, but at the same time, like I don't. I used to try to overcomplicate things. The more that I've simplified a lot of the things that I look at, I'm not going to say the easier things get. I'll just say the less confusing I can make them. Right. So, just looking at what's the probability here, right? What's the probability of what could happen here? That's what I would be interested in seeing. So, in the event that we do have more bullish delivery this week potentially, and again, that's against my bias initially because my bias was short, and I'm gonna stick by my bias. Um, However, what I will say is, if we do see a run, whenever that run comes and it is bullish, I'm just interested to see what happens when we get back there, because my thought process would be a couple of things, right? It would be a couple of things. If we see some kind of a soup up here, it would have to be significant in terms of the close. Um, and maybe not so much. Um, yeah, yeah. It would have to be. This is one of the few times you'll hear me be this definitive about what it is that I'm looking at, right? And just again, just talking this out and talking it not into existence, but if we're to maintain the same kind of a process, um, and obviously this is future related, but if we get a closure back inside again here, if for whatever reason we don't take out Friday low, the closure back inside of Friday's candle is going to have to be below this wick, because if we get basically a liquidity sweep above Friday and we close in here, I believe we continue bullish until maybe we take this level out and then we could potentially close back inside. Not sure how that would play out, but yeah, I would be really looking at this area going forward. So just something to be mindful of. It's not really relevant to what's going on right now, but somebody last week could have said they didn't think that, this Wednesday candle from the 6th of November would have been relevant last week on Thursday until we had Friday. So it's just all perspective based, really. So as I like to say, not a whole lot to do right now. Not a whole lot. Ah, nothing in chat. What the hell? Oh, okay. Oh my goodness, I'm crazy. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? It's like, no, that's 6 p.m. It's a 6 p.m. low. Like, what the hell? Hell, just these two candles could have been somebody's week. But would you have known? I mean, I wouldn't have. Not to get in and take the trade, I mean. But this is it's a good start to the week. Like I said, this is kind of what I wanted to see coming into the week. We'll know, obviously, the more data that we're able to gather, we'll be able to paint the framework in the context of framing a position in a more favorable light, but still too early. I don't want to put up here like this is a buy side and then have it run through or whatever. I'm trying to eyeball this, so like, can I see what that run is? And I can't. I'm just curious to see how many handles that just ran. That's all. So from top to bottom, that was like 71 handles. I just wanted to see how many handles it was. That's all. So 71 handles at open from wick to the extended wick. So from the wick low here to here was about 71 handles. So like I said, if whomever, and just looking at this, and it's possible somebody did, because here again, here and again, is it arbitrary? I'm just, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, could someone have had a limit order here and said, hey, there's fair value that's set here? I don't know. Or they did this. And at this point, they would have missed it. If they said, hey, there's a bullish order block sitting down here, and that's my 50%, and didn't take the fair value. So, I mean, is it possible? I mean, me personally, like I don't necessarily look at that kind of stuff on a Sunday open. I'll be honest. Um, I don't like stuff like fair value gaps. Now if it's an imbalance or something, I'm probably looking more at that. I'm more or less looking at highs and lows. Fair value sometimes can be a tricky thing on a Sunday, Sunday open. So again, not saying that it doesn't have its purpose or that it doesn't, mean something, but yeah. But I'm pretty sure somebody probably had framed that up today and said, "Hey, at the open, if this taps back in, it can run." Like I said, if somebody's whole objective this week was I wanna bag 50 handles, that would have done it. That would have given it to them, and they could have done something else with the rest of their week. It could have been done literally within 5 minutes. 5 minutes of trading, they would have been done. If, like I said, that was the objective. But I digress because I always think about. I think it's Josh Brolin in Wall Street. Money Never Sleeps. When Shy's character is asking him about, or he's talking to him about like the dangers and the ramifications of like moral hazard, and he's trying to use like the reverse psychology on him, and he's like, everybody has a number. He's like, what's your number? And Josh Brolin is like, more. So I say that to say somebody could have picked that move up, bagged their 50 handles, and they might come back into the market, say Tuesday or Wednesday, thinking, hey, let me go back and see how much more I can get instead of just, stick to your goal. Or go into a combine or, paper trade. And I know a lot of people have different thoughts and methodologies behind that. But I mean, I think it's safe because there's no guarantee once you're able to extract money from the market, like there's no guarantee that at some point it's like it's a never ending how much can you accumulate, and again that term capital preservation, right? It gets thrown around loosely, but I mean I think that's a serious thing. So it's like if you have a really really good winning day, it's not to say that you can't go back in and participate again later in the week. I'd like to think that maybe you reduce your risk when you do it, you know. Um, I don't know. That's just again, it's just a thought. So we got another what is that? 18 minutes or so. Another 18 minutes before we get to 7 p.m. And I don't know the way that we're opening would would kind of lend to one of the things that I was talking about when I did the Outlook video, about looking for longs initially, like between today, even overnight, and maybe into tomorrow, tomorrow AM, only because this may stay intact. Because like I said, the Friday range, the Friday candle range is extremely large, so it would seem likely that we're gonna try to basically retrace a certain portion of that and accumulate more if we're really looking at distributing uh, and lower prices this week. Additionally, I will also say, we close inside this level. If we close inside there, we could reach back into here and clear this. Because at least that's how this looks like it's setting up from our open. Just trying to make sure my head, like I positioned my head just below a low. Your head's below the low. It is, so you can see everything. So yeah, I mean, at least at this point, that's at least how it looks like it's setting up right now. But don't want to get ahead of ourselves. And I will be um I'll probably get back into my top step combines on, depends on how the week plays out. Um I started to say like maybe Thursday, but I honestly feel like whatever's gonna happen, and I don't mean it like if I don't catch it then it's gone, and I don't mean it like that when I say if it happens, but I I would like to think like by Thursday. I was initially thinking okay, well maybe Tuesday, but I need to see how we open the overnight tonight and then tomorrow. I'm really interested to see how Monday plays out. Um, because regardless to the price action tonight and tomorrow, unless there's something that's extremely significant that occurs, Monday's going to open inside Friday's range. So it's realistically not really even about tomorrow. It's more or less about what range gets put in for Monday, what range gets put in for tomorrow, and what Tuesday does in response to that. So I may just kind of hold off and wait. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, well, do I want to, do I want to start this week off like that? I was like, no. After Friday, that was a whole reason for doing the tape read Friday, because I initially wanted to get back into my combine Friday, and against my better judgment, I was just like, nah, we'll tape read it and be okay with that. So yeah, Thursday possibly. What are you saying? Okay. Okay, so it may be settling down now a little. Don't want to do. Yeah, we can. I could just do it that way. Excuse me. bum, bum, bum. This is almost a good example of a candle range right here for you, just to see, you know, again fractally, what do you have? High, close back inside. This candle mitigation, open mitigation. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to, because again, context. What's the context, right? But let's look. Let's see. We have time. We have time. Does it take the low? Let's see. And on the 1 minute, you can see like we were 2 candles in on the 5 minute time frame, right? So let's see. Doesn't, and again, it's one of those things where it doesn't have to. It doesn't, if it's within the context of price action and the delivery. Let's find out. I feel like Mr. Owl from the Tootsie Pop commercial. Mr. Owl, how many? What does he ask? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? He's like, let's find out. So, telling my age, man. I don't even know that commercial. Oh, I'm gonna stop right there. I am stopping right there. Now the 5 minute is this horizontal ray to this horizontal ray. That's the 5 minute. So this is the 5 minute, right? So let's see. And maybe it continues to run. And this is a situation where, like, let's just say you saw this on a 5 minute. Oh wow, I was way off. You saw this and you were like, oh, that closed inside, that opened, that closed in here, and you take it expecting, and you get this. Well, it's not, honestly, it's not invalid yet. For me, now if it closes above this, it's invalid. But it's not invalid yet. On a 5 minute, it's not invalid. We're back on a 1 minute. Now, if I go back up to a 5 minute, this might show it's just back inside. Yep, it's just back inside. So it's not invalid yet. So let's see. And it'll pair because you also have a volume imbalance here. So you may see a lot of back and forth here, which will also support the narrative of this maybe being the 6 p.m. opening range buy side liquidity or the high. With this volume imbalance, you're going to have price that's going to basically paint back and forth until you get somewhat of a balanced range in here, and then it will decide which way it wants to run. So I say that just basically to say that that might allow this buy side or this high to remain intact until after 7, and until whatever is going to occur inside here to take place, and then determine whether or not the 6 p.m. buy side gets run out, which could. And then we also have basically this 5 minute candle range low that's sitting within a another volume imbalance. So we got a few things going on in here. Don't mind my dog. Dude is always barking. He's like barks at the wrong shit always. Cats walk through the yard, he's looking at them. I'm trying to figure out like, are y'all friends or what? Like what? Is that Joe the orange tabby that walks through the yard, and is that the one that's knocking over the trash cans? Y'all both getting stuff out of there to eat or what? Like what's going on? Nah, it's a cool ass dog. I love him. Yeah, I think this is probably just gonna kind of slow down, and because of this run up at the open, um, move this over, my head's in a way. Sorry about that. So this is the entire opening range for today right now. So interesting so far. Trying to keep my head out of the way. I think maybe in future, or if I decide to tape read tomorrow, which I may do for AM session. I may do it without without my camera, and just tape read the session, and type out, like instead of talking I might do what I typically do sometimes. um, I'll just type out in the chat like what I'm looking at, or what I'm looking for, or what I think is about to occur. So I don't know if that's helpful for anybody else. I know that there's some people, like a lot of times I used to try to annotate on the chart as things were happening, and then I found out like it's cool in the moment. Um, and if it's like my visual live stream journal, which is kind of the way that like even all of this is kind of, it's a live stream, but it's more of a journaling purpose as well, because there are some that will come into the space and it's exclusively to showcase a skill, and then I mean, I guess that could be commendable and admirable in some ways, but for somebody like me, people could pop in and go, "What's he talking about? He doesn't know," and then they leave. That's fine, because in the end, um, there's some people in my life that I would love to be able to say, hey, at a point where I'm not too old to do this, but if I'm older and whatever happens and these types of things still go on, I could literally tell that individual, hey, go to this channel. This is a channel that I curated, that I did. Watch these videos, see if it helps you. Um, because it's not about monetization. It's not about being an influence. It's none of that shit for me. Absolutely none of that. Um, I look at the ability of being able to get on and do this. I enjoy doing it. I like watching price. But I've always said from the outset, there are probably more people that are out there like me that just want somebody to talk to them and not try to fucking sell them something, or not say, hey, go test my indicator, it's free, and join my Discord where every like You just want the how, when, why, and what. How do I figure out what the hell do I need to, how do I know what do I need to do, what I need to do? When does that occur? What else do I need? But you need a framework and somebody to be able to say this is the framework, this is what happens, this is what can happen, right? You just want that. So I didn't have that 5 years ago. Didn't have it. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I'm not saying that there weren't people out here doing that. I just didn't come across them. I didn't see them. So yeah, sorry. Mini, mini, minuscule rant. But yeah, it's something that I can say I'm passionate about. I enjoy, and if I can help, and that's all it is. Because whenever I decide I want to do a video or I want to live stream or whatever it is, it's for no other reason other than the fact that I enjoy doing it. And somewhere in the recess of my brain says, hey, there's somebody out there that's like they're struggling. Or maybe they're like this fucking close to like overcoming a hurdle or an obstacle, you know? Agreed? Yeah. Thank you, Joseph. So it's just you just want people just to talk not to you. You want them to share. And it doesn't have to be a damn paywall. Like it's we're so far to me, we're so far past that. But um yeah. And I'm sure there are a lot of genuine people. There are probably a lot of genuine people that have finally come to that conclusion. So I don't know. I'm like the eternal optimist when it comes to that kind of stuff. All right. So this close above for me would be a no for that, which is fine because again, ideally, I want to see I want to see buy side taken, and realistically, I just want to see it continue to run. Dub. How you doing, Yosef? I have to move this a little bit. So that's gonna create kind of like a relative equal high, maybe. Buy side. Yeah, thanks. It's not. I'm actually. I'm early. I'm early for it. I literally put it up here thinking that I figured price was just gonna play around in here until we get to the actual seven, but it may just run then too. I'm actually just gonna pull this off to the side because it's not really in play. I literally just kind of annotated, so I'm gonna have to wait until we actually get to our seven. But yeah, I think it's gonna continue to run because what I'm really looking for is this back here, which is basically our initial balance from Friday. So it's almost as if prices has a little bit of a vendetta to try to get back in here. So kind of like I was just looking, playing around on that the 5 minute candle range for that one. Um, that would be enough of a telltale for me, um, to say that we'll probably be some level of range bound tomorrow. Because I feel like once we close back in inside of the initial balance range from Friday, we'll at least reach for initial balance buy side from Friday as well. But like I said, that's a little bit of a stretch. 50 off of Friday's range. Yeah, yeah. I just I'm a little hesitant for that, only because, like, and I don't know, soothsayer or whatever. I'm not, but there's just something that's telling me paper trade. Um, just go in, tape read for a couple of days with different types of news and everything else that's been going on, and without getting into too many things, I'll just say that there's a lot going on outside of financial markets that can absolutely influence like what happens. So I'm not saying, but I'm saying like I kind of feel like this retracement might be indicative of, again, composite operator, whomever, is saying we need price to be at a specific level before Monday open, regular trade hours, because whatever. So I'm maintaining my technical outlook on stuff for right now, but um, I think I've got a couple more minutes before. Listen, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clear this until we get to 7, and then I'll put it back on. Unless, of course, it runs and it closes inside of there, which it could do too. We probably open up with a rather yeah, yeah. Yeah, the large gaps, and don't leave out the fact that we may see one-sided delivery from opening range tomorrow. Well, again, it's just like I'm just kind of talking, so obviously just like I do, like I don't know what the hell's gonna happen, but depending upon how expansive Asia is, and then if London contracts, like potentially by the time we get to New York Open after this evening and then overnight, um, we'll just see if you have like that one-sided delivery. If we have like a significant gap, because right now, um, yeah, that's 415. So I mean, it's not expansive now, but like I like to keep these in place. I need to change that so I don't get it confused later when I go to expand it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So this is obviously going to invert. That might be where it stops for right now, maybe. That's 10. 100 point range. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Um, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You had basically just literally the opening. This was 71 points right here. That was 71 handles just in that one candle from wick to wick. And what I was saying is there is probably somebody in the world. There was somebody that's just looks at fair value, and they literally marked out this fair value and said, hey, if price opens and taps in here, like they got their 50 handles and they would have been good for the day or whatnot. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so that is our actual, and I'll probably have to wait for. Let me go down to the 1 minute. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So that is 7. That's 7 p.m. So that's our opening range. So based on fair value here, I would look at this as an inversion likely to continue. Kind of want to make that green. So that way I'll know if I end up keeping this on that this would have been a bearish fair value gap, but the inversion is going to allow it to continue long until, of course, maybe it switches back. What markets do you trade? I'm gonna focus up here because it doesn't really make sense to keep the sell side in the picture because it's not relevant. And I need to move this up because that's not actually at the high. Just NQ? Okay. Yeah, I when I started in futures, I started with ES, and not gonna lie, ate me like chewed me up, spit me out. And I can honestly say, like, I thought I knew what I was doing. I had no clue. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, and where a lot of people wouldn't admit that, they could get lucky, and you think that you see one thing in price action and it's something else, but it just kind of works out to be favorable. It's kind of like the coin flip aspect. So I could say that for a few of maybe the ES plays that I was participating in that actually worked out in my favor. There were a few of them I would like to think that I was kind of sort of right. I was on the right track, but yeah, no, I had no clue, and I went to, what was it? I'd always had an affinity for like the DAX 30, the German index. So I stopped, and then I always, like, even currencies, I would always find a reason to pull up the DAX and look at it, and then just say, oh well, how, I wonder how this moves in relationship to, and that was actually what brought me back into, should I go back to ES, and instead of staying in ES, I jumped over to NQ, and I've been I've been in cahoots with with NQ for a while. Um, Next month actually will be a year. It'll be a year, and this is like it's not to say that I don't look at the other assets, but used to trade the DAX. Yeah, I don't know what it is. The fact that I have like all of these, I've got like my German um, crystal and mugs and everything else. That's another stream video, whatever. But that is oh 05. Okay, so 5 minute broken. So I don't even have to move that. So that's done. But the best part about this now is gonna be, I'm just gonna move that there. I'm not looking for this to close back inside. And if it does close back inside, this isn't going to be, I'm not going to treat it as a typical take the opposing side liquidity. It could, though. It could. I just don't see that happening right now. The 1 hour inversion? Yeah. Yep. Well, the funny thing about this hourly, so, oh, what are you doing? When you come up to the 4 hour, like, it's gonna invert here. That's why my bias is kind of like I'm skewed already. That's why I'm saying I don't expect for it to close back inside. I expect for it to keep running, because these two areas of fair value in succession, and the only other one is all the way up here. Like, I expect for it to inverse here, and at the very least clear out that initial balance from Friday. That's why I'm kind of looking at that level, at least for right now, just to kind of set the stage for, okay, what what's actually being set up right now, if that makes sense to you. Like, I have an idea of what's going on, but obviously I didn't get the financial memo in the script this week, so we'll all have to wait together. I just gotta. I think I have a fairly decent idea of what may be, but I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. How do you still look at the DAX at all, or is it something that you just, you know, you kind of moved away from once you got to NQ? Entire November monthly candle range. Oh, okay. We close back inside above here. Um, I don't want to put a rate here. I'll just say that that would be. Excuse me. Don't even look at anything else beside three. Why am it? Okay. Yeah, I tend to focus more on just NQ. And like I said, if just on a whim, like if I feel like I've exhausted everything in terms of looking at price here, I'll go look at something like I'll look at the Russell, and don't ask me what was wrong with me 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have not, like, I don't know. Like my I was signaling beings from like the planet Ogo or something because I was looking at copper futures, palladium, platinum. I didn't go like gold, silver. No, 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 no. I had to go platinum and copper futures, and you know, call myself giving my brain a break from NQ, but I actually enjoyed it, to be honest. Okay, so now, yeah. So let's see. Let's see. And the reason that I put this horizontal line here is I'm trying to frame. I'm gonna have to move that because of this volume imbalance. Because if price does come back here and it wants to run long, that can't be my invalidation because it can pair below. So yeah, there's a little bit of kerfuffleage in there. And in order to look for what I think is going to be reasonable, I need a close above that. So it's a one. Of course, it's going to get in here and slow down. But it's run a significant amount from open, so you'll have those that'll say, "Well, what do you expect it to to do? Keep running?" Oh, I don't know. I mean, she had her track shoes on all last week, running downtown. So me and these, I would apologize for my euphemisms for the the markets and what they're doing, but I mean, hey, just spicy narrative, I guess we could call it. Hey, what do you think Price did? I think Price was fast out of the gates and she ran downtown to watch the ferry. The what? She what? Price went short. It went short. Like you said, she. Like I thought we were talking about the market. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Her. Okay, so that would be enough for me. That might be enough for me. Yeah, and the objective would be something like so 11. And it is significant. So before anybody is like, you really would, because that's what I would be targeting. But obviously, we don't know. Don't know. But that would be the range. I would look for that. And just to put this in its proper context before, somebody has a cow. That'd be a partial level. If that plays out, it may not. This may collapse back down. So they're like, don't know. Mm-hmm. And I did say, and I did it too early. I did say I wanted to see it close above this, so I think that's why we're running into what we're running into right now. I get rid of that. Same situation here. So we've got a closure above. Yeah, I think that's gonna get stopped. Unless this could be. This could be viewed as a breakaway. Um, and if there was a return, it would have here. Still could, but we'll see. I think based on this move, and then that's a gap up, so you've got a volume imbalance, so it's not implausible. If we maintain a volume imbalance here, it could come back, or it could run without that. But like I said, this is my threshold for not really having to worry about retracement. Should have actually just waited for it to close above this, because I think there's a lot that's going to go on in this area for as we go into Asia. So so Yosef, you said a OTE on the monthly. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. Can we get a close above that level, or are you just gonna run? Either one is okay with me. It can do either of those two things. The closure is more important. So 20. Let's look at what. So we'll just see if that gets supported. So far so good. Um, okay. So on a 5 minute, that gives me a little bit more uh, flexibility now. All right. So it'll be interesting to see if this plays out. And like I said, we're coming up on Asia. See what happens, and I don't know. Like I said, tomorrow will be an interesting day. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tune myself out here. I'll probably let the stream run for a little bit more, and then I'm gonna wrap up. I'll make sure to post on the community tab like how this plays out, or if it starts basically to range as we get into Asia. Because like I said, but well, actually, let's look and see how many handles this is run from the open to here. So we're at 123 right now and rising. So, um, so yeah, things on the up and up. No pun intended. And like I said, we're back inside that initial balance that's already been run out. So again, the probability of what we're looking for, just before we get off here, we're looking for the buy side from Friday. So now, do we meet that? Do we get there? Don't know, because they're two. Basically, they're two. I don't want to call them stumbling blocks, but two semi hurdles. You've got fair value here, which is going to provide some type of resistance getting there, and then you've got this area that's just below that. So again, kind of like the 4 hour, but a little bit differently than the 4 hour. You had two basically back to back. This is not necessarily back to back. This is an imbalance or fair value offered. You have a balanced range back into another area of fair value. So a couple of areas to work through. So we'll see how that works out. So I'm gonna leave you guys to just watch this, and then I'll come back and then we'll get off of here. All right, back. Back. A little retracement. So, I mean, at this point, we're just gonna kind of let this ride. Um, yeah, I'm gonna let this ride, and I'm not gonna hold you guys. But I appreciate you for stopping in and hanging out, Joseph. I appreciate you. Thank you. And yeah, let me know. I have like a community tab on here, so if you want to share, what you see or what have you, by all means, feel free to do so. Um, don't know about tomorrow yet. I'll let you guys know, but the initial thought, like I said, is probably a tape read for AM session, and then that, like again, the more fluid that we move now and into the overnight, the the choppy and probably the more constricted the AM session will be. So we'll probably know like right away if it's a super small range for like the pre 8:30 buy and sell side. We'll know that there's probably not like a whole lot that's going to be going on, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. All right. Well, everybody have a good night. Thanks. Thanks, Joseph. I'll see you. I'll see you later. You take care. And yeah, everybody have a good night.